Painful thick skin on your big toe. What causes this and what we can do to treat it. Hi guys, it's Kent the podiatrist from DocPods and Ergonomics here, and this week we had a carpenter come in with a painful callus on his big toe joint, right up on the inside of the big toe here. Now he was a young carpenter and he was complaining about this is starting to give him more and more pain. It was starting to feel like a foreign body in his shoe. So what we've got is a video that shows you us removing this and how we treat this and what would cause it. So what was causing it in this situation is the young carpenter had a work boot that was too short. So on the inside of the boot, it was rubbing against the side of the shoe. He does a lot of squatting down in the boot, so it puts a lot more pressure in there. And then when we looked at the insole on the inside of his boot, it was all worn out down through this section, so it's putting much more pressure on that area than what he usually would. His feet also rolled towards the insides, which put more pressure on his toe as he toes off, so it's really important to support his feet. So what we'll do now is we're going to have a look at what the callus looks like from feet that roll in, boots that are too short, and an insole that's worn out, putting more pressure on the inside, and we'll see what it looks like and how we treat it. Okay, so you can see the callus on the medial aspect of this big toe, or the inside aspect of the big toe. You can tell it's callus because it's got that really sort of orangey, yellowy look to it, and it's different to the surrounding skin. So all we do is we trim through the callus, and there's no blood vessels or nerves, so it's painless to do. So we just remove all of that dead skin because it can feel like a foreign body, or like there's a stone or something attached to the inside of your shoe, and it can aggravate the underlying tissues and can sometimes cause bleeding or maceration or just pain in that area. So what we do, we cut all the way through it right down till we can see the landscape or the fingerprint texture on the skin, and we need to stop just before this, otherwise it'll make it more painful or irritable and it'll feel like very tender skin. So what we do after this is we'd give it a light sand and then apply some 15% urea moisturizer to help to keep it nice and supple as the new skin grows back. Okay, so that's it. That's how we physically remove the hardened callus from the inside of the big toe. Now, what we can do to treat this to help it so it doesn't grow back as quickly, we can relieve the pressure and we can use some moisturizer. So what we did in this case, our young tradie or a young carpenter, we got him to get boots that were a 2E fit, that were nice and wide and deeper, so they didn't actually rub on the inside of his toe down through here. We replaced the inner sole in those and put a new inner sole in the new work boots. So what we tried to do was put an arch support orthotic inner sole to keep the arch up and off the inside so it didn't roll in so much on that big toe. And we also got him to start using some 10 to 15% urea moisturizer that you can get from the chemist. There's tons of different ones of these moisturizers, and we just get them to use that every single day. Now that'll make the skin more supple and it'll just grow a little bit more evenly across the end, and it's less likely to get harder lumps in the skin. But that's what we do in the podiatry clinic. We remove the callus, moisturize, and then we try and relieve any of the pressure. So a well-fitted work boot, if you're in any type of trade, is essential that it actually fits your foot, a thumb width longer than the longest toe. Use an arch support orthotic inner sole to keep some of the weight in the arch and not all on your toes. And of course, it's got to be wide enough so it doesn't rub on the skin. So that's what we do in the podiatry clinic, and that's what you can do to help yourself if you're getting calluses down the insides of your toes or any foot pain. More support, moisturizer will usually help. So I've been Kent, the podiatrist for Ergonomics, and I hope this has helped.